It's the unsaid notion and idea that I don't care if they buy my music or spend their hard-earned money to buy tickets to my concert. I just don't want those faggots and dykes around me. You know, it's an unsaid notion. Over the past few days, I have received many letters, many messages, you know, many notes from a lot of my readers and my viewers asking me about my feelings as it pertains to Wale and his cancellation of his performance at this year's DC Black Pride event. For those who are unfamiliar with this story, Wale is an Interscope recording artist whose debut album was released in 2009. He was booked by the organizers of the DC Black Pride event to perform on May 30th, I think for about 45 minutes to an hour, in support of the Pride event. Wale canceled days ago, and he has since come out and come forward to say that, you know, he had no idea that he was booked to perform the show, that he's performed 48 shows this year and he doesn't book any of them, and he wasn't even aware that he was supposed to be in DC. A DC native, he is, okay? And, you know, even if I wanted to believe his story, even if I wanted to accept his explanation, I can honestly say this. I'm not naive to the fact, as an openly gay writer, blogger, YouTube personality, I am not naive to the fact that we live in a day and time where homophobia runs rampant in the hip-hop and overall music industry, period. Okay? For those who are unfamiliar with homophobia and its connotation, homophobia, basically, it's a stem of an irrational fear. An irrational fear that perpetuates an array of negative ideas and attitudes towards homosexuality, and then that of anyone who is perceived as being gay. I oftentimes associate homophobia with various forms of racism and anti-Semitism, in that it seeks to dehumanize gay people, whether you agree with me or not. You know, it is what it is. In the music industry right now, we sort of praise female artists like Nicki Minaj, who are very open about her, you know, her sexuality, her same-sex interest in females. You know, she isn't necessarily popular and known just for her lyrical prowess. People look to her for her physical beauty, but the public seems to be very accepting of the fact that she has these same-sex interests and these desires to be sexual with women. When Rihanna was promoting her Rated R LP, you know, she delivered interviews where she alluded to the fact that she had same-sex tendencies, and she didn't receive a lot of backlash for it. Even with Lady Gaga, you know what I mean? And other females who have come forward to acknowledge that, you know, they may have same-sex feelings or same-sex attractions. It hasn't hurt or hindered their career in such a way. But if artists like Drake or Usher or John Legend or Trey Songz were to come forward and say the same, I have to believe, especially amongst the black community, the black mainstream community, that they would suffer. Their careers would suffer. Their album sales would suffer. There are some black women who you know, push this whole notion, oh, well, he's too sexy to be gay, or they hold this resentment towards gay men because they feel as though it lessens their pool of men to choose from. Or every good man gotta be gay or on a DL, you know? And it's sad, it really is, especially because, and I don't want to make this a whole racial issue, but I'm just going to put it out there, you know, there are a lot of those in the white community who are a lot more tolerant of homosexuality. Therefore, artists like Clay Aiken and Adam Lambert and Lance Bass can come out and openly acknowledge their same-sex feelings and their same-sex relationships and still have and maintain a successful career. But artists in the urban community, hip-hop, R&B, or otherwise, aren't able to, you know, if the majority of their fan base do stem from the black and Latino communities. And you know, what I'm saying is not so far-fetched and so untrue, you know. It is what it is. Young boys are taught from a very young age, you know, that they have to sort of deliver and exude this whole hyper masculine bravado that, in order to be a man, you don't cry in this house. I ain't raising no punk. I ain't raising no sissy. And therefore they grow up and they idolize these rappers and these other urban artists who sort of perpetuate the same physical bravado, because as far as they're concerned, that's what a man is, and that's how a man carries himself. He wears the baggy jeans hanging below his ass. He sleeps with as many women as he can get his hands on. Like, that is a celebration of manhood. And then when you see artists like Chris Brown, who release, albums where on their album cover they're wearing fitted pants and a fitted shirt as he is on his graffiti LP, or you have artists like Kid Cudi, who performed with Jay-Z, doing his whole Fuse TV taping in September and October. He wore the skinny jeans. Everybody wants to say, oh, he's gay, or he looks gay, because social constructs teach us that, men don't wear fitted clothing that, hugs their arms or hugs their legs. Like, that's strictly designated for women or for gay, feminine, effeminate men. A man, an alpha male, doesn't carry himself in such a way, doesn't wear such clothing. And that is why homophobia exists. Part of it has a lot to do with the fact that society teaches, especially in the Black and Latino households, teaches our boys and teaches our girls that there are certain things that men and women do, there are certain things that boys and men do versus certain things that girls and women do. We teach our children that. And so they grow up idolizing and seeing these images that further create that divide, in gender normality, and they accept it and embrace it. So as soon as they see a dude who doesn't support that image, then all of a sudden he's a punk. He's a sissy. Oh, yo, that looks gay. And it's sad to me. It's sad to me that we don't have artists who, we do have artists like Kanye West who have openly spoken out in support of the LGBT community. And there are a lot of female artists, of course, who do, because they realize that a large part of their fan base is comprised of very loyal and supportive gay men and gay women. It always makes me laugh when certain male stars on Twitter release photos and they always say, for the ladies only, as if they don't realize that it's because of their loyal gay fans that they're even selling the 50, 60, 70,000 units in their first week of an album release that they're selling. Gays are very loyal. When we love you and we support you and the mainstream media and Associated Press turn on you, well, the gays are still there. And whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, I don't care really who you are. If you are a mainstream successful artist, please believe that a large part of your fan base are comprised of gay men and gay women. That's just, you have to accept that. So in this day and time, when you're an artist of Wale's caliber, who is still on the up, who is still on the climb, for you to sort of denounce that LGBT following and refuse to perform, for whatever said reasons, well, you have to realize that you're slightly damaging your career. And you have the option, as we all do, to decide when and where you will perform and what have you. But when you openly decide that you're not going to perform for an event because it is a gay-oriented, gathering or venue, then indeed you're sending a message. You're sending a message that you don't want that level of support. And so bloggers like myself will not post your music on my site. Though I may not, have the following that some of the larger blogs do, I will not support, your platform, because I feel like you're not supporting those who support me. And I'm openly gay. I'm openly gay and proud.
So many obstacles try to weigh me down, but I won't let that stop me. About to be clear for living.